Hey guys, Excoundrel here. Welcome to this video talking about slow roll protectors, one of my favorite compositions in set 3, mainly because, especially as you're climbing through gold, silver and platinum, less people are playing this compared to things like cybernetics and rebels, and it is equally as strong, if not stronger, with the right items. You're seeing here, I'm going up against a 6 cybernetic player, and my Xin Zhao is basically rolling him. That's what this composition can do, but it does rely on a lot of 3 stars. So if someone else is going for this comp, it can be very difficult to make it work. So I'll add that caveat before we get into it. If you like the content, please feel free to like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. I'm trying to produce more TFT mobile and TFT content in general. I know a lot of my auto chess subscribers have moved to TFT mobile, so I'm just trying to get newer players up to speed on TFT and TFT set 3. So let's talk about slow roll protectors. I'll talk about what slow rolling means in more depth in a moment, but let's look at the composition in general. Your core champions are Jarvan, Rakan, Xin Zhao, and Nico. The 2 major variations are on the top. It is Protector, 2 Celestial, 2 Sniper, 3 Dark Spirit. And on the bottom, the overall theme is literally just 4 Protector, 4 Mystic. Now, I prefer the top version because I think it's more adaptable. The bottom version is really good if you're going up against a load of magic damage. When it comes to carousel items, you're looking for Chain Vest, Negatron Cloak, and Needlessly Large Rod. Items that you want to prioritize: Bramble Vest and Dragon's Claw for your Xin Zhao. Morellonomicon and Ionic Spark are really good for Rakan, as is Spear of Shojin, and Spear of Shojin can be good on both Rakan and Lulu. And those are the items that work really well, but I'll talk about items in more depth when we go through our general positioning guide. So this is a little cheat sheet. Just make sure you screenshot it if you want to have a look at the units that you need. But let's go through each stage of the game in more depth now. Hey guys, so we're going to go through the early game, the mid game, and the late game, as per usual with the Protectors, Celestial/Protectors, Mystics composition. Now I want to focus on what I do in the early game. So early game is pretty easy. You always want to try and find yourself a Jarvan. So Jarvan is going to be one of the first early Protectors that you pick up, and he's going to be the most easy one for you to get your hands on. Now when it comes to 1 costs, there aren't actually many other 1 costs that you need. You can definitely take a Xayah. So Xayah is a Celestial, and once you find Xin Zhao, you'll get the 2 Celestial bonus. So having a Xayah at 2-star in the early game is nice. Having a Jarvan at 2-star in the early game is really nice as well. However, you don't actually need that many other 1 costs. So what I suggest is take any 2-star that you get. Adding a random 2-star can definitely improve your chances of win streaking in the early game until you find the units that you want. The primary goal of this composition is to get to 50 gold. You don't want to level, you don't want to do any fancy kind of moves. You just want to get to 50 gold and then start to roll above 50 gold for your 3 stars. So obviously, if you can find them, you're going to want to find Rakan and you're going to want to find Xin Zhao. At level 4, I would say that this is basically like the optimal composition. You have 2 Celestials, you have 3 Protectors, so all of these guys are going to get shields, and this is basically pretty optimal when it comes to sort of a level 4 composition. And obviously, you are aiming for these guys to be level 2 as quickly as possible. So this is kind of like what you are aiming for in the early game. But remember, you may not always find these components together, but Xin Zhao and Rakan, they should be bought at all costs. Jarvan should definitely be up there as well, but Xin Zhao and Rakan, 100%. Then we're going to talk about what happens when we go to level 3. So when we go to level 3, we're obviously adding yet another Protector. So, sorry, level 5. So coming in with Nico will give you the 4 Protectors. Now you can drop Xayah at level 4, but most likely at level 5, this would be your composition. This is basically the bare bones of the Protector composition right now. You have Nico in the middle. I always put them like, sorry, this is just my bad. I always think that this row is, for some reason, the row at the front. This row just seems so unsuspecting. But you want Nico in the middle because you don't want her to take all of the damage, but she wants to take a little bit of damage so that she can cast her ultimate pretty quickly. So at this point, you're going to want to start committing items. Now, if you get a Morellonomicon, this is a really, really good item on Rakan, as is Ionic Spark. Both of these are really good items on Rakan. When we are looking at Xin Zhao, he has 2 really good core items. Bramble Vest and Dragon's Claw are really, really, really good. So Bramble Vest and Dragon's Claw are really good core items on Xin Zhao. You don't always need to have those items. I actually quite like this combo. So I like Bramble Vest, I like Dragon's Claw, and then I like adding a Titan's Resolve, which is, I'm trying to find it here. I quite like adding this as a combo for Xin Zhao. The other thing that you can add is Warmogs. Warmogs will give him a bigger shield, because remember, protectors gain a shield based on their max percent HP, which is why you're getting them to 3-star is absolutely important. So yeah, getting a Warmogs on him is pretty good. I would say a Quicksilver is solid, to be honest with you. GA is perfectly fine. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's definitely perfectly fine. Gwynsu's Rageblade, because he will scale up in the fight, because he's obviously going to be surviving quite a long time with all the shields. Something that you'll find that I did in the previous game that worked, I think actually worked really well, and people don't often consider, is actually Seraphs. Xin Zhao, I believe, has got a 50 mana before he casts his ability, so Seraphs will give him a very good early start, so he'll be able to cast his ability pretty quickly. But also, it will give him 20 mana when he casts his spell. So actually, he'll be using his spell over and over again and generating huge shields. So this was the setup that I ran with in the game that I'm going to show you in just a moment, and it worked incredibly well. So now that you're level 5, your primary goal is 3-star Rakan, 3-star Xin Zhao, secondary as a 3-star Jarvan the 4th. If you can, you obviously want to try and look to 3-star Nico, but it doesn't actually have to be that way. So from this point, there are a couple of directions that you can take. The direction that most people take is the Dark Star Sniper. That can be adapted, but basically what you add here is you add Jhin, who you want to get to level 2, you bring in Ashe, who you want to get to level 2 as well, and this will give you, at level 7, you have now got 4 Celestials, 4 Protectors, and 2 Snipers. Now obviously, you're going to want to get rid of Xayah eventually, so Xayah eventually gets dropped for, where is it, Lulu? Xayah gets dropped for Lulu, as you can see here. And then you actually end up adding Karma as well. Now, you want to add Karma so that she bonds directly with Xin Zhao. I sometimes move Xin Zhao over here, or even do them all the way over in the corner like this, depending on who I get to 3-star. You do want to put Rakan just behind the front line, because he's not as tanky as the other guys. But this is basically the Dark Star Sniper Protector Celestial composition. You also have the 2 Mystics in the form of Karma and Lulu. Now, if you're going up against a lot of magic damage, so I'm talking like Star Guardian sorcerers, any kind of sorcerer composition, any kind of composition where they're going to be casting lots of abilities, you can actually drop these 2 and you can add the rest of the mystics, which would be Sona. So you want to add Sona somewhere where she can heal specifically Xin Zhao, and then you also want to add Soraka. And that would give you your Mystic Celestial Protector composition. This is, again, a composition that is very strong. I mean, your Xin Zhao will have ridiculous armor from Bramble Vest, but he'll also have a lot of magic resist, plus the Dragon's Claw. If you're going for Mystics, you don't even really need Dragon's Claw. You could actually replace that for something else. But irrespective, this is basically, I would say, a tech decision. And I would really only tech into this if I felt like I was going up against a load of magic damage, because otherwise 2 Mystics plus the Dragon's Claw is perfectly fine to protect your Xin Zhao, and you get a bit more damage and utility from the Jhin and the Ashe. So I'm going to throw the Jhin and the Ashe back in, because I actually want to talk about something that I did that was really funny. And this is actually the game that I'm going to show you. So going to level 9, you actually have options, with the specific option for me being Soraka. So I actually added in Soraka in this composition. I can't remember where I put her. I think it was something like there. Or I think I might put Lulu up over that side and put Soraka down here. But Soraka, I'm just going to add these guys as your hyper carries. Soraka is going to give you, potentially, if you can find it, the Star Guardian bonus. What I actually ended up doing in this instance was giving the Star Guardian token, because I actually got the Star Guardian token from a carousel. So this is basically just an incidental one. I'm trying to find where the Star Guardian token is. Ah, here we go. It looks a bit different on this than the actual in-game. I gave this to Karma. And the reason I gave this to Karma was when she cast her ability, Nico would get mana and Soraka would get mana. And then when they cast their ability, Karma would get mana. So we had a huge AoE control from Nico, who was level 3. Karma was constantly shielding my Xin Zhao, and Soraka was constantly healing. It was broken. I'm going to show you the late game just because it was so insane. But this is like a ridiculously fun level 9 composition. But you don't need that, and neither do you need Soraka. This bit here is like your level 8 core. And that's everything on this comp. Alright, let's talk about the early game now, and I'll show you what we've been doing. I got a Morellonomicon early. I did not have a Rakan to give it to, so I gave it to a Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser paired up with Leona gives me a double Vanguard bonus to the 2 Vanguards, and actually Mordekaiser is a really good carrier for Morellonomicon. One of the great things about what I could have done in this situation, as you can see I'm hoarding poppies, is this start could very easily have transitioned into a Vanguard Jace composition if I wanted it to. So I had the option, and you generally have the options if you're going for sort of a more protective front line of going for the Vanguard Jace composition if you want to. I obviously did not. We went into the slow roll protectors, but this is the early game. I just had 2 protectors and 2 Vanguards out. Not the absolute ideal early game, but I had someone to hold my Morellonomicon, so I was making use of that item. And this is kind of what I did in the early game to get myself into a good spot. I was obviously losing a little bit early on, but that was remedied pretty quickly as we jump over to level 5, and you can see now I have 4 Protectors and 2 Celestials on the field. So I actually have now got my Rakan, my Nico, my Xin Zhao, and my Jarvan with a level 2 Xayah on the field to give me the Celestials. I'm actually going to sell everything that I don't need from this point forward, mainly to get gold, because the primary aim of this composition is to get gold. You need to get up to 50 gold and start to slow roll for your specific units. You can see here that even if I have level 1s, even though I've only got a level 1 Xin Zhao, a level 1 Rakan, all of my protectors are only level 1, we're actually still beating someone who has a load of level 2s in their comp. So this is actually really, really good from us, and that is how strong protectors can be even with just the level 1s. So we managed to turn things around really nicely here just by having the 4 protectors on the field, and now we're just essentially looking for level 2s wherever we can. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit further on. You can see I've now leveled up to level 6, and we end up having slow rolled our way. So what I mean by slow rolling is this requires a little bit more explanation. Slow rolling is where you get to 50 gold. So you get yourself to 50 gold. You can see on the left hand side I've got 5 little golden shields. I think they're golden shields, and they represent obviously having 50 gold, and you can see that I've got 50 gold in my wallet as well. Every turn, no matter whether we win or lose, we roll down to 50 specifically. So we roll down to 50 and we pick up any Xin Zhaos and any Rakans as a priority. But you can also pick up Jarvans and Nikos too. But obviously your priority should always be Xin Zhaos and Rakans. And you can see now we are at 4-6. We are still level 6, but we have our 3-star Xin Zhao. We are working towards our 3-star Jarvan, and we're working towards our 3-star Rakan. But Xin Zhao is like the primary carry in this composition. And he basically is just, this is the clip from the start of the game, just solos teams. You'll also note that I'm now at 4 Celestial. I achieved this by adding in the Ashe. So our Celestials are now Rakan, Xin Zhao, Xayah, and Ashe. Ashe is a really good utility piece. She obviously provides a lot of CC and can buy some time for your Xin Zhao. But this is essentially what you do. You get to 50 gold as early as possible in the game, and then you just roll all of your interest. So every piece of gold you have above 50 should go into rolling, looking for a Xin Zhao, a Rakan, and a Jarvan as a priority. You can also look to 3-star your Nico too if you want to. Not a priority over your Rakan and your Xin Zhao though. The priority should be Xin Zhao, then Rakan, then it should be Jarvan and Nico. Those are your 3-stars that you're looking for at the end of the day. I wanted to show you the late game as just a bit of fun as well, guys. This is where I had the Star Guardian Karma. This is going into the final round of the game. Kind of just want to show you how ridiculous it gets. Even though he managed to get a Zephyr on my Xin Zhao, he still ended up winning. He basically late game swapped his Vi over to get my Xin Zhao locked up with the Zephyr. But just watch the Nico and how many times she casts her ability in such a short space of time. Like, that's 2 already. She does end up going down, but my Jarvan has just come back online now, and then the Ashe pops off. We end up killing everybody else. I mean, this is just such a strong composition if you can get the units together. Really, really happy with how it went. And that is the end of the game. Hope you guys enjoyed, and go out there and rock some TFT.